Now, back live to the Kenny Report.
As I mentioned at the top of the show, Sex Discrimination Commissioner Kate Jenkins has handed down a 450-page report examining the culture within Parliament House. The review was based on voluntary face-to-face, online and phone interviews with 1,700 people. It found 1 in 3 people working in Parliament House experienced some form of sexual harassment. But that, I should point out, is from an anonymous survey that fewer than a quarter of workers filled out.
There is also a worryingly low level of reporting, indicating that it's not safe to speak. Only 11% of people who'd experienced sexual harassment in a parliamentary workplace reported their experience. These are not just numbers, there is a story behind every statistic.
Now, 28 recommendations have been put forward, including the establishment of 2 new bodies to police the culture within Parliament. Let's bring in Holly Hughes, Liberal Senator for New South Wales. Thanks for joining us, Holly. You've been around politics for a long while. Reading the report, does it ring true to you that there's this sort of toxic culture of bullying and sexual harassment in Parliament House?
Well, as you say, Chris, I have been around politics in this building for going on 20 years, and I can certainly tell you things have changed from when I was first here in the very, very early 2000s to today. I still get chills when I drive up into Canberra and see the flags on the top of the building and feel so privileged to be able to work in this place. And I certainly have never, ever experienced anything negative from male, female colleagues or others at any time. And I think the point that you make is a really good one. This is not 1 in 3 staffers. This is 1 in 3 of the people who responded to the survey. And I think we need to keep that in mind. There were around 1,750 people who responded, and it was open to current staffers and former staffers. So I'm really interested to look at the detail, because I think the timing of these reports matter. Were these issues 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 1 year ago, 1 month ago? That I'm not clear of. I haven't had a chance, obviously, to digest a 450-page report since it was released today. But over 6,000 people work in this building pre-COVID times at any given moment. So we do need to keep that in mind. It's not 1 in 3 staffers, it's 1 in 3 staffers who participated in this survey.
Yeah, most of the media and reporting just takes the headline figure here, but it's an anonymously online self-selecting group of less than a quarter of the people who were sent it. Nonetheless, I've worked in Parliament House as well, as you know, as a fly-in, fly-out, and there is that working away from home, Canberra social life as well, long hours. You can be in that building from 6 o'clock in the morning till midnight. And we've got an issue where there's an alleged rape. That issue is going through the courts. So you've got to look at these issues. It's just a matter of whether there's an unfair, whether it's as bad as this report suggests, I suppose.
Look, absolutely we do, and this is a bipartisan review, and I hope going forward it continues to be a bipartisan effort. Everybody comes to work deserving to be in a safe workplace. No one is denying that. And absolutely, we can do better. There's no doubt this is very much a work hard, play hard environment. That's the very nature of politics, and dare I say it, probably journalism as well. But, you know, we do need to make sure that we read it carefully, that we're not making wild assumptions, and look at the timestamps around when some of these issues occurred. Because I can tell you, 20 years ago was very, very different to today.
In not so many words, the report effectively pushes for female quotas. Do you support that aspect of it?
My understanding, and again, I'm going to be honest, I haven't had a chance to go through it all, but the way it was described to me was it was more that there was like a Mean Girls kind of environment.
But the recommendations of the Commissioner are there ought to be targets for staff and for politicians to have basically equal representation of male and female.
No, don't support that at all. I can tell you when I employ someone in the office, I employ the best person for my office. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not looking at their gender. I'm not looking at anything else, whether or not they bring the correct skill set to my office. And I don't support someone saying to me, I need to have equal balance of men or women or whatever other diversity in my office. I mean, outrageously, on one hand, of the woke argument, we're not allowed to discuss gender, and then they want to put in place quotas to enforce gender.
Exactly. So, it's very hard to get the gender quotas when you can't reference.
Chris, I've got to be honest, mate, where do we go?
I don't know, but we have to go because we're out of time. Thanks for joining us, Senator Holly Hughes. Whatever the environment is like in Parliament House, they've only got a couple more days to put up with it this year before the summer break.